back to World of Warships with Agent Alaska. Today we are going to be playing in the Tirpitz, the Tier 8 German premium tank, or ship, sorry, I'm so used to calling them tanks. The Tier 8 German premium ship. It's a battleship specifically, but it's very unique as it gets this nice little function of torpedoes. It is the only battleship, according to Wargaming, that will ever have torpedoes as a function. As you can see, here's one launcher here, and then if we go on the other side, there's another launcher here. Kind of hidden. They do get damaged quite often, though, unfortunately. It's also quite quick. It goes around 30 kilometers, or 30 knots, which is a pretty good speed for a battleship. Not the best out there, but definitely not the worst. It's pretty good speed. And it has very good side armor. It has very good hull armor, but the roof, or the, I don't know what you would call that, the deck, that's right, the deck. The deck has pretty weak armor. So this ship is very good at fighting ships at close range. However, if you get into a very long range engagement, it's gonna, well, it's not gonna be good for you. However, it does have some pretty good range, as you can see here. It gets around 21.4 kilometers maximum range, which can be anywhere from 21.4 to 21.3 is your maximum range, depending on where you're aiming. Which is not bad, it's not bad. However, because of this thing's torpedoes, and because of its very good guns, they've got a pretty quick reload. The reload on them is apparently 28.6. Can be a little bit longer at times, but as a general rule, that's about what you're going to get. Citadeling this ship is not easy. I'll mention that now. The ship's citadel is very small, and it's not an easy thing to hit, as the ship does go 30 kilometers an hour, or 30 knots an hour. 30 knots. So you say kilometers an hour, it's awkward saying knots. Anyway, this ship does go 30 knots, so I mean, it goes a decent speed. It goes a decent clip. You can keep, and it works pretty well, especially if you can get into some close range in combat, which is where I'm trying to get this ship to, chugging it along. A couple of problems that it does have, which are pretty big, is the fact that it does not turn very quickly. The turn speed on this ship is very slow, and the turning circle isn't very big either, which make it very hard to realistically play correctly, or play well. Just launch those in there. I see those torque planes coming for me, so I'm just going to go ahead and turn out. I can't turn in, unfortunately. But I've got my AA focused on them. As you can see, I launched my torpedoes in that direction. God, my FPS is going bad. This is why I don't like warships. This is one of my biggest problems with warships. Now I do have an enemy, friendly fighter group helping me out here, so we were able to actually take out that torpedo plane, or the torpedo bomber, before it was able to take any real damage. Fortunately. Let's see here. I'm just gonna spread out my fire damage, my fire there, just so that I don't take too many hits, or so that I can get a hit for sure. All right. I'm going to start angling myself back in. And I'm not going to really take a lot of damage from this AO, but I'm not really too worried about his guns. His guns aren't going to do much to me, and my guns are going to do a lot to him, as he is a Japanese cruiser, and they have very little armor and very big citadels. So I'm not too worried about him. I'm just going to turn back in. I'm going to watch my shells go in there. It was a little bit back. I'm still not very great at aiming with these aiming with these guns, because of the speed of the ship. You gotta it's sometimes difficult. It's not always, but sometimes can be difficult to really make sure that your shells hit target correctly. Also, to be able to get all 4 guns on target, unfortunately, you have to turn the ship quite a bit, and that was probably gonna miss. It's got a very, very short gun arc, so. Yep, I'm going to dodge that torp. Good. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and push straight into sea here. I'm not too worried about this Aoba or the Pensacola. Neither of them are really going to do a ton of damage, even with firing high explosive. The armor on this thing's just too good at close range, and this is realistically, the plunging fire isn't effectual here. they're firing, realistically, they're mostly firing high explosive, and that's probably just gonna, oh, he's dead, never mind. Really what this ship has is those special torpedoes, really get the, range going on them. Hopefully my AA can help out this, yeah, that's not gonna help him out. He's got 3 groups of fighters on 1 group of torpedo bombers. Then we reuse, definitely set up to kill planes and try and kill the enemy fighters, but with my anti-aircraft support and the Satagos and anti-aircraft and the Hatsuharas and another one, yeah, I think that he'll be okay. It won't be great, he won't come off of it very much better, but it'll definitely be okay. I'm really wanting to get through this gap so that I can shoot the Pensacola. I didn't realize I had all this like entire fleet with me. Generally, the fleet goes the other direction, which is why I was kind of surprised when I saw that. Yeah. If you can't tell, this is live comp. I'm doing this while I'm playing. I just kind of want to see how it works, how it's going to work out, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. Fortunately, my computer does like having random FPS lag spikes, so I do have that issue, unfortunately. But, they have B and C, or A and B. I mean, they really have A, and they're gonna hold B. I'm gonna start. I think once I get past this, I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna try and go that straight. There shouldn't really be anything on the other end. They're all on the other side of the map, except for maybe the carrier. The carrier might be in this corner, but he probably just started running the other way if he's not ran already. Let's slow down another bit. Where that Tirpitz is going through is where I'm wanting to realistically go through. I don't know if I can actually make this turn. This thing's turning. It's real slow. You know, the rudder turns real slow, and it has a very small turning radius. I'm actually just going to go into a full reverse, because as you can see here, I'm probably going to collide. So it's just going to go to a full reverse, and as you can see, the rudder's kind of slow. I have the rudder upgrade on this, but it's still pretty slow at turning. So it's something that you have to remember when you're playing the Tirpitz is it's pretty slow turning, which I didn't really expect out of this kind of a battleship, because this style of battleship is supposed to be pretty good at doing maneuvers like that. You know, it's supposed to be pretty good at maneuvering and stuff like that against other battleships. But as far as I've seen, this ship is pretty slow at turning and doesn't like to turn. It complains when you turn with this, which is a bit annoying. I found it a bit just, you know, not disturbing, but just not satisfying. Because it's got such a good speed, I kind of expected at least a halfway decent rudder turn. But no, the rudder turns real slow, unfortunately. It's really kind of saddening that the rudder turns so slowly. I don't think those are gonna, oh, wow, hi, there's an island right there, I'm smart. Now you can see that I'm personally not using the spotter plane, even though I have the spotting aircraft available. I don't use them. That's a personal opinion. I'm not very good at using the spotter airplane. I'll just be honest here. I'm really, really bad at using them. At aiming when I'm using it. I can do it on some ships, but some ships I can't, and this is one of the ships that I just can't figure it out on. I don't know what it is. Even with some, you know, modded crosshairs you can see here, with the lines and everything is trying to help you out, I just can't hit shots with the spotter airplane, even at long range. Not even that they turn, you know, even if they go in a straight line, I just miss. Alright, probably should have gone around since I had already gone past, but probably could have gotten some more shots in. I'm not too particularly worried about doing damage. That's not a worry of mine, because I know that I will do damage eventually. I've got lots of health, I've got lots of guns, you know, I've barely taken any shots. I've taken like 3 or 4 hits. Not even 3 or 4 hits, I've taken like 5 or 6 hits. But I'm not too worried about it. I think I've lost 1 anti-aircraft gun. Again, not too worried about it. I'm much more worried about just taking overall damage and being able to dish out the damage later on in the game. I'm not much of an early game player, I'm a much more late game player. So, early game, in my opinion, is important, but not, it's important to capture zones and win zones early, and that's really all you need to do early. Early game isn't for killing. At low tiers maybe, but at this tier, early game is not for killing. Early game is for racking up points with capture zones, making sure that your team stays alive long enough for you to tell the tale. And then dealing some early damage, but not really necessarily to battleships because they can repair. They have their repair function that makes it very hard to actually kill battleships. If you just deal some early damage, you're not really going to do a ton. Now, I'm not the best gun person with guns. I'm okay. I work them. But that's just me personally. Again, I'm just a bad shot. As you can see here, I'm just a bad shot. And yeah, there's a lot that I can do, but I'm much better at shooting within 10 kilometers. If I'm within 10 kilometers of my target, I can easily hit them, even with long, even if it takes forever for the shells to get there. Within 10 kilometers, I can easily hit my target 100% of the time. Or, hit the target with at least one shot, aim them correctly. Even if the spread is bad, I can aim correctly and hit them within 10 kilometers with a little bit of practice. 12 kilometers if I'm on a good day, 13 if I'm on a really good day, but at this range I'm very bad at actually aiming. I generally hit behind the ship or at the back of the ship, just because of how I am. I try and use it to my best effect, but I'm really bad at judging ship speed. As you can see here, I'm doing it again, even though I fire farther ahead. It's just a struggle for me. So that's just a personal problem, That one really is a personal problem. And this is North Carolina around the corner, and I'm actually wanting to get closer to these guys, because right now they can use plunging fire to their greatest ally. They can use plunging fire, which will really do a lot of damage to my ship, and because plunging fire on this ship means that you will actually take a lot of damage. Basically, if you can avoid taking plunging fire at all, that is great, because you will take a lot of damage from plunging fire. You don't have a lot of deck armor, as I said before, but if you can get up close and personal, you can eliminate the problem of plunging fire. You can just get right up in their face, punch them in the face a few times. Can't really back off, obviously, but you can punch them in the face a few times and do some real damage. I'm really hoping that somebody goes and caps A. That would help us out. What's my range of these torps again? 6 kilometers. Not enough to take that knock out. Unfortunately, I'm still detected. This thing's detection range is kind of long, but as you can see there, they shot me in the back of the ship, hit the rear armor, and it just deflected. Again, this ship has very good armor for that kind of thing. Very good armor for these close quarter encounters, or if you're pointed directly at the enemy. But if you want to fire your guns, you cannot point yourself directly at the enemy, which is a problem. There's a lot of things that I kind of wish I could do better, but it's not going to happen all the time. I don't know. I don't think that NorCal's turning towards me, unfortunately. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim my guns, pre-aim my guns. He spotted me now, but it's okay because he's been spotted the whole time. And I can just kind of fire for the deck. I know I'm firing AP, but I can also get my armor specs to their best advantage. Also, torpedoes. Remember, I do have them. I like to use them whenever I can. Unfortunately, that guy just took out both of my guns. How annoying. It's also not wanting to select the correct target. And unfortunately, I only have one set of torpedoes on each side. But I can fire both. This is going to hurt a lot. As you can see, I've taken a lot of damage already. I'm going to use my repair. Got 3 torps on that Fuso. Maybe able to get all of them on this NorCal. 1 torp on NorCal. My NorCal is dead. So I'm going to use this repair function, and now I'm just going to start turning towards the enemy fleet and showing the other guy my ass. Now, most ships... Oh crap, turned the wrong way. Sorry, I'm the wrong way for this. Most ships, this would be a bad idea. But with this ship's armor spec, I can do this. Just again, remember, turning your armor towards the enemy is better. Unfortunately, I did go under fire from a lot of guns, but I got 4 torpedo hits, 21 gun hits, 57,000 damage done. I'd call it a decent game, at best. So that's kind of the Tirpitz. It's really good at close quarters, and as you can see, if I can actually go to my ship. Give me a second, my dead ship. There we go. As you can see, they were all about 10, some of them were 14, 15 kilometers away. And that's right around the range where the armor starts to sometimes work. Also, I will note that they were firing high explosive. Obviously, I was getting set on fire, things like that. But also remember, I was engaging targets from multiple directions and still was able to deal a heavy amount of damage to one and completely eliminate another. NorCal, which North Carolina is not something to giggle at. The North Carolina is a pretty good ship. So I didn't necessarily do my job, but getting that kill and dealing enough damage to that Fuso that he could easily be killed, as you can see here, has given us an easier victory. It's not given us the victory, but it's given us an easier way of going about the victory. Obviously, there's a lot of things that I could have done better in that battle. Got 4 torpedo hits in one battle. Yay. But still, with that engagement, it put me at second highest on the list, next to the destroyer, because of all that torpedo damage. As you can see here, with 12 torpedoes launched, I hit 4. Now remember, I think I launched 3 sets. Yeah, I launched 3 sets of torpedoes, and there's 4 per set, so that's pretty good. 4 hits, I'll take that. I generally get less than that in this ship with torpedoes launched, so it's not too bad. As you can see, my gun accuracy is pretty shit, but that's just, again, that's me personally. I'm pretty bad at that, so it happens. Makes lots of money though. As you can see, it kind of shits credits, even though I died, which is 78,500 credits, and the ammunition was 1,440. And I didn't do any damage to allies. You can't take any damage from allies, but I made 274,000 credits, and worth the times 3 6,476. Now, even without a premium account, I still would have made 152k, which is pretty good money for a tier 8 premium. For any ship, really, that's a pretty good amount of money and a lot of experience, even without a premium account. But of course, I have one because screw not having one. So yeah, that is the Tirpitz, nice and live, coming at you live from Agent Alaska's war chest. Yeah. So yeah, here it is. Nice little Tirpitz, as we can see here. Probably should have done this beforehand, but why not do it afterwards? So we'll start with survivability. Survivability has 69,300 health. It's a pretty standard amount of hit points for a tier 8 medium. Not medium, sorry. Tier 8 battleship. Pretty standard amount of health. Its guns. Its main guns are these 380mm. I don't know the centimeters. These 380mm dual turret guns. There are 4 of them, as you can see. 1, 2, go back to the back, 3, and 4. There are 4 of these guns, all dual turret. The secondary armament, there are 8 of these, 8x2 105s. They're all around. They're obviously all around the ship. All in these kind of turret-like locations. These are very, very nice. And then obviously the opposing sides on the side of the ship. And then the other secondary armament is the 150mm. Now these fire very slowly, but you know, they fire, well, not very slowly, but much slower than the 105s. And these guns are really good against enemy destroyers. These are the same size as an enemy destroyer, actually. And they fire high explosive, obviously. And they fire up to about 4.5 to 5 kilometers each. So that is the main battery done. Let's go up to... Let us go to torpedoes. Now these torpedoes are, there are two of them, as I've said, 2x4. They're 2x4s. And these torpedoes have a range of 6 kilometers. It takes about 90 seconds to reload, so it's going to take you a minute and a half to reload them. Don't really worry about the turn rate. You won't really have a problem with that. Maximum damage 137,000, or 1,300. One more try this. 13,700 maximum damage, which is pretty good. 64 knots, which is maybe a bit slow, but still a pretty good speed, and a 6 kilometer torpedo range, which is very low at this tier, but it is on a battleship, so you can give it that. The anti-aircraft, well, you get lots of these guns. You get your 20 mil, you get your normal 20 mils all over the ship. Random places, there's 12 of these. I'm not even going to show all the places. Then you get your dual 20 mils, or quad 20 mils, sorry, these are quads. Very nice guns. You get your 37 millimeters, which you will hear firing in 3 short bursts, just ta-da-da, ta-da-da, ta-da-da. These are also pretty nice. And then, if you look at this one, yeah, you remember those 105s? These also are anti-aircraft guns. They dual purpose as your secondaries and your anti-aircraft. So if you really want to focus more on anti-aircraft, then you want to focus on, say, just self-defense versus other ships. You want to focus on a specific aircraft group. You will want to focus that your anti-aircraft on that, because otherwise these will work as secondary guns if they can. They are primary, secondary guns, secondary anti-aircraft. And let's get to maneuverability. Alright. So the maneuverability, its maximum speed is 30.9 knots, which is pretty good. That's a pretty good speed for a battleship. Turn circle radius, you know, how long it takes for this ship to do 180, I think it is. Or some, I don't know. Anyway, it's 850 meters, and the rotor shift time is 12.8. With my booster that I have on it, which is right here, that gives it a minus 20% time, so it's realistically with the booster math. It's math, that's what it is. I do not think I have my phone up here. No, I do not. I don't have my phone with me. But I'll have that pop up on the screen right now. Yeah, right there. That'll be the speed, but 12.8 without boost. And then concealment ratio, surface detectability range is 16.4 kilometers, and air detectability range of 14.8 prior to firing. After you fire, it increases stupidly high because it's a battleship and they're big guns. Modules, obviously has only the base modules. Ammunition and consumables, I choose to have the damage control party too, because I'm not too worried about losing money. It's a premium ship, and it makes a lot of money if you do some damage. I don't really worry about the repair party too, because all it does is just, all the second versions do is decrease the charge. I do the second version of this because you use the damage control a lot in this ship. And I don't be spotting aircraft that often, and you're never really going to run into a time when you're going to need one and not have one, so or not never, but it's much more unlikely. So, upgrades. What do I use? Well, there's a lot of upgrades that you could use. There's a lot of upgrades that I could have chosen over what I have, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But personally, I chose the main battery modification. Make sure that I don't get mag detonated. Try and decrease the amount of times it gets incapacitated. But as you saw in that last game, I did still get incapacitated with this upgrade, and it does decrease its repair time, which is kind of nice. Also, because I'm wanting to use this in close quarters, I did the main battery modification too, even though I guess you could I could also argue for increasing gun accuracy. The second, you could argue for any of these, especially this, because that's really nice. You don't really need the secondary as much, but the AA guns I feel like would be very necessary. I do find that the anti-aircraft starts really working after the enemy planes have dropped their stuff. So I will note that, or as they have after they've left. That is a bit of a problem with the ship, is the anti-aircraft is a bit low range, but I felt like the decrease in reload speed and the speed of turret traverse was very important with this ship. Its turrets turn they don't turn slowly. As you can see here, we have the main battery. They don't turn really extremely slowly. 180 turn time is 30 seconds, which is pretty good for a battleship. But it just feels like it's kind of cramped and unable to really turn as fast without those. I use the damage control mod 1 because you don't really get your propulsion knocked out or your steering knocked out. So this is, decrease the chance of flooding and fire. I use the steering mod because, again, as I've said before, the rudder shift time is pretty slow. You could argue for this because, obviously decreasing your fire chance and the time it takes to extinguish fire or take away flooding would be kind of nice, but I feel like the rudder is important. I have chosen not to use either of these upgrades. I don't feel like they're helpful in any way. One is a target acquisition system, 20% maximum spotting. How nice. I can see them farther, but I can already see them farther than I can shoot, so what's the point? And then the concealment mod, again, it's a battleship. Don't worry about concealment. As for commander stuff, I've done pretty standard battleship commanders, situational awareness. I chose to do the ship survivability, take away the basics of survivability, minus 15 time of repair, flooding, fire, and all that stuff. Again, I felt like the turrets need to turn a little bit faster. So I know this isn't much, but it's much more helpful than any of the other things on this list. There's shells coming towards me, okay. Fire, minus 7% chance of risk of fire. It's not helpful a ton. Torpedoes, they're not as necessary. It's not like it's a torpedo boat, so the gun upgrade really felt like it was the best choice. Now for the third perk, you could choose one of two things. You could choose either the high alert, which would decrease the reload of damage control party consumable by 10%, or superintendent. I feel like superintendent would be nice to give me some more repairs. I do find that since I'm in such close quarters, or try and get in close quarters with the ship a lot, you do need to get that wiggle room to punch out with your enemies. As for my fourth perk, I'm going to be choosing the advanced fire training, increase my anti-aircraft range, and increase my secondaries abilities. And for the last upgrade, I will be probably choosing either preventative maintenance to decrease that risk, that incapacitation of modules, or I will be doing jack of all trades. I'm not entirely sure on this one. I've got plenty of time to go before I do that. Decrease the reload time with amount of consumables would be nice, but also decreasing the risk of incapacitation of my guns, which I've seen to be a problem, would also be nice. So, yeah. That's kind of like my basic run through of the ship. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment on the video, give me some feedback, and make sure to hit that nice little red subscribe button. And I'll catch you next time.